All right, we're going to start with some, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset before we get rolling, and then Arash is going to take you through his presentation and teach you a lot, and then we're going to bring somebody up to simulate with him like we did yesterday with the others, and then he's going to break it down even further, and we'll do some Q&A afterwards. So this is a huge opportunity for you. It's all being recorded. What we're going to do is place this into the membership site as a future training video to go with what else we've got. So again, thanks for being here. I feel like I'm running a TV show. Yeah. So we want to talk about mindset. So let's start with describe the mindset that you believe consultants have to have.
You know, it's funny, I was just teaching this to my team yesterday. I look at, there's an average salesperson, there's a beginner, and there's the elite. And I want all of you guys to become an elite salesperson. So there's some characteristics that are absolutely essential. Number one, you first have to sell yourself on what you're doing. Until you're sold on what you're doing, you're not going to be able to transfer that belief to anybody else. Number two, you have to have a positive mental attitude, because our attitude is felt whether you know it or not. And if you're talking to a prospect and you're saying, I want to help you, but you're worried, oh, I hope I get the sale, they're going to feel it. Or if you're focused on something that happened an hour ago, they're going to feel it. And I think it's our duty when we're working with somebody to be, they are the most important person, and you have to focus on them, or else you're really cheating them, and really cheating our profession, in my opinion. So I think you look at how many people are in this room. If you study the most successful consultants, they have some common characteristics. And if I were you guys, I would study those. So then the last one I will tell you is embrace failure. Love it. Because you have to fail in order to win. Like, too many people are afraid to fail. They run from it, which ends up keeping them crippled, where they won't open their mouth and go talk to people who really they could help because they're afraid to fail. So really fall in love with your wins, fall in love with the process of what you're going through, fall in love with the material, and fall in love with failing. That'd be my biggest advice.
You know, I thought of a question with the first point. So how does one go about selling themselves on what they're doing?
You got to accept the idea. First of all, when I'm talking about selling yourself, okay, you can't sell anybody else until you're fully emotionally invested in it. The first thing you did was, I'm going to use you guys as an example, you guys paid the investment to become a consultant, okay? So number one, that doesn't get you to be successful. That's the starting point, right? You're choosing in. The second part you have to do is get emotionally invested with what you're doing. Study every day. If you become a product of the product, naturally, you're going to transfer that to your clients. And that's how you guys are going to be better. And so the biggest thing is get really, and I'm sure Bob talked about it when he was teaching here, is really getting emotionally involved with your goal. Get really emotionally involved with falling in love with helping people.
To that emotionally involved piece, I think people get really emotionally involved when they first make the decision to join this business. And I think a lot of times that this decision is based on a real burning desire. So what advice would you give to people when they get into a slump?
Well, it's a good question. Slumps are natural. They're going to happen to everybody. Whenever I've personally got in a slump, I'll talk to myself and I'll say to myself, I've done this before. So I won't allow myself to alter my self-image and be like, start personalizing the results. And I always challenge myself, if I'm doing a presentation, I want to do 10 times better than what I've ever done, because I always work my way out of slumps by just giving love, like loving my presentation, loving the person, and doing 10 times better than I've ever done. Because the only way I've ever learned how to get out of a slump is to work your way out of it. Because here's the thing that happens, it's a little deeper. When you're in a slump, what happens is you're focusing on the circumstances. So when you're focusing on the circumstances, you're getting emotionally involved with what you don't want. So guess what you're going to attract to yourself? More of what you don't want. More of clients who aren't able to invest, people no-showing you, people canceling. So now let's shift it. let's reframe this and shift our attitude first and say, okay, I've done this before. You know, even if you've done one client, if you've done one, you know you could do this business, right? Like I look at Brian, we were talking yesterday, and he told me, he said, now I know what you mean by it works 100% of the time if I'll do what you tell me, you know? Once you do one, it's just repeat, 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 duplicate, duplicate, you know? So that was what I would recommend.
Cool. So, I mean, you personally have brought a lot of people into PGI as consultants, and a lot of them call you for help. What have you found to be the common theme, and what do they need to do?
I mean, no matter if anyone calls me, I always go to their presentation. That's the first thing. I'll say, have you studied my presentations? And they'll say yes. So I'll say, okay, let me hear it. Then I stop them within 2 minutes. There's people in this room I've stopped within 2 minutes. And I say, study the presentation and get back with me, then I can really help you. Your guys have got to embrace it and master it. Like I've given something that I know works because I've not done it just myself. I've duplicated it with so many people. And if you master it, you're going to win. There's two things I'll tell you. Study, become a product of the product. I know I'm repeating myself because I'm trying to emphasize to you guys the importance of it. And the second thing is, you guys have my presentation. Just study it every day. Any new person, even if somebody who's not new, I'll tell them, I want you to study this as part of your daily habit. Study it. It's 30, 45 minutes. You know, study it, make that a part of you, transcribe it. That's what I would recommend you do.
That's good advice. We've heard that over and over and over. It's now you got to follow it. Good advice, right? Brian's followed it. Many others. So a lot of people come into this business, they're very successful in their previous career or business. We talked about that, the Matrix. And they get in this business, they get stuck. Like, why is that, and what advice do you have for those people?
Well, it's a different paradigm you're operating with. You know, just because they're successful in one business doesn't translate if you don't still put in the work. Like, everything is a system. So you guys have a system here. If you follow the system, you're going to be successful, but you're not guaranteed success. You know, that's why I love the quote, failure is not fatal and success isn't permanent. You have to work on it and earn it. That's why, like, momentum works in both ways. Like, momentum is earned, right? You don't just automatically, or like Brian, if you stop working, you would not be keep enrolling people, right? So it's the same thing. So if you're in another business and you're coming to this business and you're like, okay, I already know because I built another business, what's going to happen is you're going to really get humbled pretty quickly.
Well, here's a good one. So we just went through a price increase. Bob recommended raising the price from $5,000 to $6,250, and a lot of people are scared about that. So what advice would you give them?
You know, the first thing you guys have to do, it's very normal to be scared because that's your paradigm, is you got to accept the idea. You don't want to sell based on price. You want to sell based on value. The clients are not going to know the difference who you're talking to between $5,000 and $6,250. They're not going to notice the difference. I remember early on in my career, we had a program that was $13,000, and we upped it to $18,500. And I had a huge paradigm around it. I called Bob and I said, you know, this is what's going on. I have a huge paradigm around this, and I know it's me. He said, here's the thing. The price doesn't matter. He says, you're projecting your doubts to the prospects. That's why you haven't gotten any. He said, I want you to get clear right now with me that you're going to do it. And by the end of the day, you're going to sell one. And I said, okay, because, you know, Bob and I have worked so close. I know how to accept ideas he gives me. And within an hour, I had sold one at 18.5, and then I just took off. I was the problem, not the price. You guys should not even look at the price any differently as 5,000. 5,000 is the same as 6,250. Accept that idea, okay? It's no different. The clients you're going to talk to are not going to be like, hey, I thought you used to charge 5,000. You know, they're not going to know. It's going to be you. So if you project doubt, you're going to get the same thing back of you, and you've got to be super confident. I'll go over pricing when I do my presentation for you, because it's really important when you're stating the price that you're stating it with confidence. You're not going to say it's $6,250. You're going to say, you know, to do my 6 or 12 week, or you guys do 24 week coaching, it's $6,250, and you go fast at it really fast, you know, and then you're going to be able to know what you need to overcome. But it's no different than if it was 5,000, if it was 3,000, you know. So
it's the same answer, right? Just a different number. So let's just wrap up one more question. We're going to get you into taking us through your presentation.
Sure.
So in this room all week, people get fired up, they get excited, they listen to other people's presentations, they talk to people in the inner circle and see what they're doing, and they get excited, and their belief goes up. But they do struggle with their belief about what they're capable of. So what advice would you give to people with that?
Number one, especially for what you guys are all doing, I would recommend you guys do a lot of auto-suggestion with your goal, number one. Number two, do the self-confidence formula daily. You know, record it, put it on your phone, say it audibly. You know, you got to do we got to change the repetition of your current fixed idea. So if you want to be more confident, you gain confidence through experience. So you keep doing this auto-suggestion that with belief, what's going to do, it's going to transfer, and every time you do a presentation, assuming you guys are studying the presentations, it's going to get stronger and stronger, and then your belief is going to really shift considerably.
I mean, that's the theme we've been hearing, right? Auto-suggestion, repetition. I mean, you've heard this repetitiously about repetition. I just want to show you something, Arash. So where's Delampre? Where is he? Right there. So look at this. Delampre has been writing out the Serenity chapter for 7 months.
Wow.
And I asked him, I go, when did it shift for you? He said, it took me about 3 months. So he stayed committed for 3 months till the shift took place, and then he's still doing it for 7 months in a row. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's cool. All right. I know you're all anxious to hear Arash teach you, so we're going to let him get started right now. All right?